Welcome to SirMajesty Easy World Science channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to start understanding chemistry. Most people see the mystery in chemistry, but today I'm going to remove that mystery. Even though the early chemistry started like a mystery, the alchemy, it looks like magic. And for me, I think this should be my 14 years experience as a chemistry teacher, so I think I got all it takes to tell you the secrets that is needed for you to start understanding chemistry. First, you have to remove that fear, the idea that chemistry is very difficult. That psychology in you should go. Chemistry is never difficult. It is a science, and when it is a plain science, it's not magic at all. It means you have to understand it. Number one step in understanding chemistry is this: there is no tree that grows without a root. That is the fault I discovered as students have. The basics of chemistry is, it looks so simple, but that is the mainstay. That's the major thing you need, which means number one step is to start understanding chemistry from the grassroots, from the definition of chemistry. That's your first year level, the first time they start introducing chemistry for you. Don't joke with it. If it is here in Nigeria, we say your SS1. Over there, that should be your 11th, that should be your 10th grade, yeah, possibly. Some places they start introducing it at 10th grade and 9th grade. But what matters is that don't joke with introduction to chemistry. That's number one thing. So if you are finding chemistry difficult, can you humble yourself and go back to the roots and start learning what is chemistry, the definition of chemistry, the particulate nature of matter, that is the compositions of matter, atoms, ions, molecules, atomicity, what do they mean, how to calculate molar mass, empirical formula in this beginning. So go back to the grassroots if you are finding chemistry difficult, and don't joke with any of these basics. Funny enough, in WAEC over here in Africa, they include most of this SS1, and you see students saying we have done this in our SS1. That is probably your 10th grade, but unfortunately it's coming back on the 12th grade when you'll be writing your WAEC examination. So what does it mean? Don't joke with these terms. So don't joke with the basic terminologies in chemistry. That is step one. Then step two, you have to give chemistry 100% attention. Chemistry wants your 100% attention. When they are teaching chemistry in the class and you discover that you're having a little problem understanding chemistry, you need 100% attention. What you mean is that you have to listen to the teacher, if the teacher is good anyway. You have to listen to the teacher without discussing. Even when you have a scratch, don't scratch it till you get that thing, because the problem students have is that you are not good in chemistry and you still want to discuss with your friend why the teacher is going on with something. Chemistry works in a unique way. Well, that's why you must listen, because chemistry is a science, but somehow it is on its own. Why? For example, AB in science, in mathematics, means A times B. And in physics, AB means A times B. But in chemistry, AB can be A plus B. That is why H2O, the molar mass of H2O, where hydrogen is 1 and oxygen is 16, and you have H2O, that's 1 times 2 plus 16 is 18. This is chemistry for you. If it is in mathematics, H2O is supposed to be 36, if I'm correct, because it requires H2O, H and O, supposed to be 2 times 16. That should be 32, if I'm correct. But unfortunately, it is 18 in chemistry. That's why chemistry requires your 100% attention, especially when they are starting any new topic. Any new topic requires your 100% attention. Then another thing you have to do is to start understanding the language of chemistry. Chemistry as a science has its own language, and the language starts from that basics, like I said in the step one. It starts from the introduction to chemistry, that science language or chemistry language. In other words, the terminologies used in chemistry will help you understand a new term altogether, because it works like you are climbing a step. If you don't get step one very well, step two will be extremely difficult for you. So don't joke with any of the terminologies. In that case, you should know that when they say anything morphous or amorphous, it means non-crystalline, because in science language, morphous means shape, amorphous means without shape. So understanding the language of chemistry is another thing that you need to start understanding the chemistry itself, because you cannot just start making a sentence when you are not conversant with the alphabets that makes up the language you want to use to start making a sentence. And that's why you should know your elements, the basics of chemistry, of course. Then, in understanding chemistry, you also require some reference books, very important, like chemistry dictionary. Some of you don't know that there is a dictionary in chemistry. You have to sort for reference books, because most times we use terms like they say orbital. People use orbitals, but they cannot define what orbital is. What is an orbital? But it has been long you have been using it. This is just a region where an electron is likely to be found. They may say degenerate orbital. So it is the chemistry dictionary that will help you explain these terms, and they will be very, very clear to you. So using reference book is another point. Then another point is, remember your brain works in what we call exposure. There is a way pattern of learning according to Pavlov Petrovich, who introduced what we call conditioned reflex or conditioning as part of learning in animals. You know that when you expose animals to a particular stimulus, they automatically will get used to this particular thing. They will learn by constant exposure. What about you that is a human being? So another secret is expose yourself to chemistry constantly. Constantly expose yourself to that particular topic, meaning go back and read it again. Read it and read it and read it and read it again. So constant exposure will increase your understanding. Don't give up, because I know it sounds so boring and uninteresting when you get to the first, second, third line and it sounds so weird to you. You're not even getting any sense there. You calm down. Now, in this case, I can't tell you to keep on reading what you know that you are reading and it's not entering at all. It is waste of time. If you read a topic, read it again and it's not entering, it means that you are reading a topic that you're supposed not to read that time. There is another topic that you need to know before coming to that topic. That is how it is in chemistry. You cannot start learning how to write words when you have not learned the letters. Like you'll be struggling to write come when you don't know how to write the letter C. It will be difficult for you in chemistry. So if you are reading any topic, you expose yourself constantly, twice, thrice, 4 times, and it's not entering, my dear, it means you are reading something that is quite above you. You have jumped a lot of steps, and that is why it is sounding like a strange language to you. So you go back and read a topic that requires you to understand before you come forward and read that one you are reading. So these are the ways you can use to start understanding chemistry. Another thing is having a good teacher. That is very necessary, because unlike other subjects, of course, if you say English, biology, we are living things, we do these things, even accidentally, especially in reproduction, is what we do. So we can relate these things to our real life experience. Chemistry can also be related, but in a unique way. People might love the things that comes out of chemistry, but they cannot explain the principles, the equations, the secrets behind it. So if you don't have a good teacher to open your eye, seek for one. Like SirMajesty, I will help you start understanding chemistry. If you watch some of my video here, that's why this channel is called SirMajesty Easy World, the easy world of science. Most times, because of long experience, what might take you 1 minute, 2 minutes in solving, I must just teach you a secret that you will use and get it in few seconds. So you need an instructor, you need a teacher who is well experienced to guide you properly, so that what will take you 4 days will now take you just but few hours, and you get it into your brain. Stick it straight. Then some people, another thing is that you must start learning by acronym. Though some people don't like using mnemonics, that's these shortcuts to learn. But my dear, if you don't want to use shortcut, learn it straight. But learning it straight, when it is difficult for you, it automatically means you have to find a short way to make these things very, very easy for you. So, for example, you might find a real life something that relates to what you are learning, and bring that chemistry close to you. Let the chemistry be your friend. Don't see chemistry as a field different from what you love. That thing you love still have chemistry in it. For example, I am a football fan. I love Barcelona, and Barcelona is FCB, and that's what we shout. FCB for life when they play, especially when Messi was there, of course. Let me not deviate, but I'm just trying to tell you that the same passion I have for that club, I used it in chemistry, and that FCB now meant something for me in chemistry, which means fluorine, chlorine, bromine, FCB, and that is how the halogens are arranged. And now to add more, I just say FCBIA, meaning Football Club Barcelona International are starting, and that means fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. I have finished the halogens. So these are the ways you make chemistry your friend. Be a friend to that chemistry that you are afraid of. How? Bring chemistry closer to that thing you love. Try to merge your passion with the same, in life. If you don't like something, they can use what you love to lure you to what you don't like. Sometimes children, if you want to give them drugs, they will reject the drugs. Then they will bring honey and coat that the same drug they don't like. From the honey they love, they will swallow the drug that is bitter. So you can use that aspect to start learning chemistry. Bring what you love, use it to cover this chemistry, and swallow chemistry in a sweet way. Before you know it, chemistry has already become part of you. Now, another strategy is, what do you do here? In this case, you need to know chemistry in practical life, meaning try to go close to the lab and practicalize these things you read. Relate chemistry, like I said in the last point, to real life. But real life now is go to the lab. This is for advanced people, because most Africans are actually theoretical chemists. They swallow everything hook, line, and sinker. Sometimes there might be mistakes in what they write down there in the textbook. If you are close to the lab, you can now have an authority, because chemistry is an open field. It's open for everybody. Nobody, that thing written there in the textbook is subject to change if you can discover something that proves it wrong. Which means, don't try to swallow hook, line, and sinker or walk in faith with chemistry. No, try to investigate. How come? How come? Like they say that in general, even now, chemists believe that a particular equation can only be balanced by one particular number, or if you change the number, they will be in the same ratio. But you watch one of my videos here, you are seeing it on the screen. I discovered on my own that no, there are some other numbers that will balance this equation in difference to a geometric ratio, and it doesn't work well because I do practical. Then I wouldn't know where the error is coming from. But the reality of what I am seeing is giving me assurance that this chemistry is for us, not only for people that have written it down. So do experiment. Do experiment. Try to confirm that sentence. Test the theories. Test the hypothesis. Test the law you are seeing. And now, if you test them, it's just like you watched a movie. When you watch a movie, that is what experiment does for you. You can't find it difficult to remember it again. It will be like something you saw, like you're listening to me now on the screen. When you watch people teach on a television screen, it is more interesting than you going down to your book sometimes. Why? That is the same thing I told you in the last point. Bring what you love to absorb what you don't like eventually. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that in practical, it is like you are there. When you are doing practical, don't be blinded by what is in the textbook. Sometimes if what you are observing is not rhyming with what is in the textbook, it doesn't mean that the textbook is wrong. It might either mean that what you are doing is not the correct thing that needed to be done. So, but when you want to be an authority, try to be a member of this society called chemistry. Chemistry is just like a cult. You need to be a full-time member, not just a member who says what others say. This is why you are not doing good, because you just want to swallow what they say. What is an atom? You define it that way and go your way. You don't even want to check. Is this thing real? Let me try this on my ability. I might find out something like I had a little teacher I'm coaching up. He one day prepared a standard solution. He prepared 0.1 mole of HCl and 0.1 mole of Na2CO3. Before she started the titration, I laughed at her. I told her, have you done this study? She said, no, sir, I can't do it. As she started, I told her, you will never get to an end point until you reach around 40 something, because it has not yet dissolved well. If it has dissolved well, you might likely pour the whole acid without the neutralization of chlorine. She doubted it. Why? Because she only know that 0.1, and they say she's marking even exam and WAEC. I was laughing. When she did the titration, it ended up in 46. Why? Nobody taught me this. It is practical that taught me this. Experience. I'm now a member of that chemistry. I can now say this will happen, and it will happen that way. Not just because I read it up in the book. So you can use these my steps, and eventually chemistry will be your friend. Most importantly, like I said, please start afresh. Go back to the beginning of chemistry. You will not suffer the same way you are suffering. Forget about that thing you are reading, that you are in the high institution, this is difficult for me. Calm down. On your own private time, develop time and develop this route so that you can stand firm. It's just like trying to fly without wings. You will be suffering yourself. You find out that you are walking against nature and it's not possible. So don't mind the time that others are flying, soaring very higher than you. My dear, go and get your wings first before you can now start looking at those soaring far, very high than you. So come down to the basics of chemistry and start learning the ABCD of chemistry, and don't memorize at that initial stage. Ask questions, be curious. That's just by the way. Then another method is assuming you want to write chemistry exam and you don't have time again to go through all these things I taught you now. You can use what I call exam rush package. Exam rush package. That is how to pass chemistry even when you don't know it. So how are you going to do this? First, you are going to use what we call dogma in chemistry. Remember, in that case, you are just doing it to pass exam, but you have not learned anything in chemistry. And this is only applicable for exams that are multi-choice, not theory exam, not where you are asked to define this, it will not work. But if it is an exam that requires option A, B, C, D, you can use this pattern, exam rush. What do you need to do? Start studying past questions. Use a reliable source that answered those questions correctly. Memorize them, yes. If you constantly read through, you can now memorize that the answer is usually this, even when you don't know when or how it is. Then you can use isolation method in that case. If you see some options, I taught you this, you watch that video on how to answer some questions correctly, but this doesn't make you a perfect chemist. Chemistry will still be very far from you. So thanks for watching. Don't see the mystery in chemistry again. Rather, see the joy, the reality, the membership of chemistry. God bless you, and remember SirMajesty. Don't forget to subscribe and ask for more guidance from SirMajesty Easy World Science channel. Bye for now.